Well, surprise, surprise. Hannibal in the 10 gets results, and our fans want 3-4-3 now to stay. Welcome back to Where Clarets Walk. We are recording this after, of course, the Southampton FA Cup win. We're also talking about Tresor, what's going on with him, and the window, plus who is the worst ever Burnley manager. If you've been joining us over the last couple of weeks, we put together our worst ever Burnley 11. There it is. We'll talk about that at the end of the video. And also it's Valentine's Day, of course, this week. So we're getting our team to talk about their love for Burnley. We've got Dan, Jordan and Connor back with us. And we're also delighted to have football journalist himself, Nathan, with us to join this particular week's episode. Welcome, Nathan. How are you?
Not too bad yourself, mate.
I'm very good. Hopefully you're not going to be as potty mouthed as these lot are. So we'll jump straight into it. No swearing this week, Dan. Right. First of all, thank you very much for all the love last week. Let's talk about Southampton's the victory over Southampton, shall we? First of all, 3-4-3, Dan. People are saying, let's keep it. It works. It was exciting to watch.
It was. It was a very, I think, though, possibly because it was a different type of game. It's a cup game. He's swapped the team around quite dramatically. He's got nothing to lose. So possibly it was because he let the shackles off. He's not as bothered about conceding in the cup. He's just thinking, let's just see what happens, give game time out. That being said, it works. It was a much more end-to-end. We could have scored 2 or 3. Maybe we should stick with it. I don't know.
Well, that's what the fans said. Verify says, can we play like this every week? Shelby, Hannibal, class midfield. Sarmiento, great too. Barnes has still got something to offer. And of course, Burnley have never lost a game with Hannibal. Let's talk about him, shall we, next, Jordan? Hannibal's class, isn't he?
Oh, Hannibal, the cannibal. We do love him a bit. No, he was quality yesterday. I honestly think he really showed his United class and why he come through the youth ranks there. And to be able to pot a player for, I think it was under 10 million for him, that's it. It's an absolute, dip in the lucky out, really. If we can get him firing on all cylinders weekly, it's going to be a complete dramatic change for us. And with the nice link up with Marcus, I noticed them two linked up really well when he come on. So if we can get that, rolling a bit with who we've got left, which really are, no disrespect to them, but the poorer sides in Southampton, then we should stay in the league, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Connor Lou said Hannibal was fantastic again. He plays so much better in that position, not in the 10 slot. I'm pleased for him. And of course, Nathan, his own comment here is, I was over the moon with that performance. 3-4-3 has to stay for me. Wingers playing inside and the wing-backs overlapping suits the profile of a lot of our players. Hannibal was absolutely outstanding. Parker might be cooking. Do you agree,
Scotty
Connor?
P's cooking.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I thought the little bits I caught of it, of the game, we played really well. Hannibal the Cannibal was quite... Hannibal the Cannibal, that's... it's a new one. I've not heard of that one before, but no, he played class again. I think every single game he's played recently, he's been top draw. I'd like to see the 3-4-3 in place, something like that. It brings a bit more... It's what we were saying before, gives a bit of risk going forward, committing a few more men forward rather than keeping men back. But yeah, I was a big fan of it, mate.
Having said that, Nathan, welcome to the show, by the way. He's never going to do that against Hull, is it? And against Preston, he's definitely not going to play like that at Deepdale next Saturday.
I wouldn't think so. As much as I'd like to see it, it's not like Parker to change his ways too often, as we've seen this year. I would like to see it. I would love to see it against those sides. I think with players like Edwards coming in now and Sarmiento, who are almost like wingers who play inside. And then you've got Aaron Ramsey to come back into the fold at some point, hopefully as well, who's another one of that profile who can link up with Fleming a little bit because we know he likes to drop deeper. I think that would be a much better system for the players we have. But it's Scott Parker and it'll probably be 4-2-3-1 on Wednesday.
It definitely is more likely to be that, isn't it, Dan? I want to just raise a few other players, if that's okay, before we move on from this particular result. Here's one player that I'm desperately glad had a showing and a good game. Prod Lackey, who let's not forget took Ipswich up to the Premier League, got dumped by Ipswich, and had to sit on the bench most of the season watching Trafford put in some displays. I like him a lot. Dan, do you?
It was solid enough. He had a decent enough game. He did what was needed. There was a bit of a mix-up between him and Worrell. Nearly cost us a goal early doors, but he recovered and did well. And from then on, he had a solid game. But we've spoke about him in the past. We think he's a great acquisition. We think he's a great number 2. We think he'd probably make a decent number 1. He's just unlucky to be behind Trafford. So, yeah, I mean, aside that little blemish on the game, but like I say, recovered from it. He did well. I thought he played, he had a decent game, clean sheet against the Premier League opposition, and they were a pretty strong team as well. It wasn't the first team, but it was a strong team.
Yeah. A couple more, Jordan. Great to see. Yeah, I mean, Nathan Redmond back at St Mary's. How good was it seeing back on the pitch?
Well, I think it's nice to see Nath back on the pitch. I think he were in the in the substitutions list a couple of weeks back, and we never saw him on the pitch, so I thought always that were a bit confusing. Maybe it were coming back from an injury and he weren't at full, so he was just there to make up numbers. But it is nice to see him back because he gives a complete different dynamic. And I think it were a little bit of he's played a bit of a blinder as Parker with bringing him on against the Saints. Like his only game for us in a year is against his big club that he come from. So yeah, no, it's nice to have him there because he's very versatile. He can do right side, left side, he can play any striker, and if very much needs be. Am I right in saying he can do left back? I could be wrong. But he's very versatile.
Barker will probably play him there.
Yeah, probably. In there.
Give him a crack.
Okay, the one player we haven't spoken about then is, of course, the goal scorer and your new signing, Connor. This time last week, we hadn't talked about, Marcus Edwards signing. So, first of all, was it a welcome surprise? And just talk to me about what he's going to give you going forward that you didn't have before.
I wasn't really surprised necessarily because I knew he'd bring something to the game. I think he's going to bring a bit of creativity that we've been missing in the final third. I think it's just been too many times get out wide to Anthony and just let him cross it. And we've not had a player that can just create something out of nothing. So he's definitely a big piece to the puzzle that we're trying to solve. That word of that poorly.
Yeah. No, we understand you. Nathan, though, if you saw his interview afterwards, he needs to liven up his media work, doesn't he? And also he doesn't quite understand the 3-gun salute celebration at the end. And if you've seen that video as well on social media.
He seems a quieter sort of character, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. We've some characters in the dressing room that I'm sure we'll come to when we talk about the January transfer window who are still here that probably aren't a good influence on the dressing room. So a quieter man might not be so bad.
Okay. All right, let's get to that point then. Before we do, then do drop us a like and drop us a subscribe. If you haven't yet already done so, 20 minutes of Burnley chat every single week. Let's jump into the transfer window then. We're not going to ask you to grade it yet, Dan, because you obviously haven't seen all the players. But overall, without mentioning Tresor still being there, what did you make of it?
I can't mention Tresor. What's the point? No, I thought it was a strange one. It was decent. The few we've got in. Look, we see all Edwards, and there was a big hoo-ha about him on social media, saying he's brilliant. Shelby's come in, obviously got that level of experience at a higher level. I forget the name of the other guy that we brought in as well. Ashley Barnes. Sorry, who? Bennell. Yes, Jayden Bennell. Son looks all right as a decent replacement or backup. The only issue that I have with what we've brought in, whilst they may be of a decent quality, I don't think a lot of them have played an awful lot of football this season. I think they were saying Edwards hadn't played since November. Shelby's somewhat similar. Barnes was a bit player and was injured for a lot of it. So it may have to almost have skipped a pre-season to try and get in. And then the exits of those outgoings, we didn't lose any concern that we might lose Steve, we might lose Riley, we might lose whoever. So to keep what we had, aside from one who I think everyone we're not mentioning, but I thought it wasn't too bad a business. The only thing was we didn't get that out and out striker, which we've been saying for weeks.
Okay. This was Howard's view. Jordan, he said it was a poor window. It didn't address the main issues for me. We are now suffering from VK buying anything with 2 legs. I hope we don't regret it come May. Oh dear, is it a poor window, Jordan?
No, he's just a negative person. Like sometimes, Burnley fans are not about to win you about, so they'll make something to win you about. That's just being from Burnley. I would like to say, as like a little thing, when we do come to the Tresor chat, please come to me first because I am burning to talk about this boy.
All right, let's get before we'll get there in a minute. I just want to let's highlight one more. Let's do one there. So the admin needs credit for Burnley because I think the best ever introduction video for a player was made there. So if you're watching this and you know the person who's done this, please let us know in the comments because we need to give this person credit. The Rachel and Ross thing from getting off the plane was absolute quality. So well done there. Right, let's get into Tresor then. Jordan.
Right, let me get started.
I've got a load of tweets I could have used for this, but let's just what's going on with Mike Tresor?
Sit back.
Right, no, the thing that bugs me with Mark Tresor is I've been his front runner for quite a while. If you go back on some of our old videos that we did, I did note but support him and said he could have been the missing piece. Now we're at the point where this guy is taking an absolute liberty. Now, I want to speak on behalf of people from Burnley because if he ever sees this, which I doubt he will, but if he ever does, it's more of a majority thing of, in Burnley, it's a thing of, I don't care how messed up the truth is, just sort of tell me. Now, the other lads are from Burnley, so I'm sure they'll agree. Honesty and being open about stuff is the biggest thing. Now, if he just come out and said, I'm unhappy here and I don't really want to play here, he'd have a damn sight more respect than being a no-show every single week. And it's a bit harder hitting for the people of Burnley, who are a hard-working class town, like many other towns, but a hard-working class town, that you are refusing to do such a well-paid job while us go and earn pittance to come and watch you lot play. So my big thing around Tresor is if you are unhappy and you did want to play under VK, then please just terminate your contract. Just go elsewhere, take yourself off the wage bill, get a loan somewhere, which, well, he should have done really. We should have sent him off to Las Palmas and let them pay his fee. And when he starts sulking, we don't have to deal with that. I've seen him compared to Wout Weghorst. Not the same at all, because at least Wout played. Yeah, he went out on loan. He made it quite abundant. He wasn't happy, but he still come back and played when he did come back. Tresor is just spat his dummy out, and he's got what's he on now? Another long-term injury because it doesn't make any sense. It's like the other week he had a dead leg for like nearly a month. I had a dead leg once. I still had to do PE and walk home, and I didn't get paid for that. He's an absolute joke of a man. And this is me saying my piece now on. I've defended this guy so far. I've argued with so many people. That's why I made the joke about arguing with you as being a journalist, because I've argued with that many people about Tresor. But I'm so bored of him. It's the same nonsense with him every week. And then he pops up wearing a black Burnley polo. We always face down as if he's part of the imagery. You're not part of Burnley. Don't even try to be. I'd much rather play one at kids over this guy because he's an absolute joker. Anyway, I'm told.
Yeah, can you just get an ambulance around Jordan so I'll check his blood pressure, please?
Cheers,
thank you very much.
Nathan, what's your take on
it? I would like to shadow the comments of Jordan, really. He's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Right? He's being paid to be at this club. Lots and lots of money. Lots and lots and lots of money. And he's refusing to show up to work. His job. It's diabolical.
You got a new song out of it, though. You got a new
Mark
song.
Always
David
picking
says,
the bright side out.
Yeah, I don't care about Tresor. He don't care about me. All I care about, and the nice rhyming.
John Joe Shelby.
Yeah, not quite a list. Not quite in the right, syllables for it to perfectly work. Then, yes, time the supporters were told the truth, says Lance at the top there. I'm sure that will never happen, but yeah, Connor, should he rot in the reserves for you now?
Yeah. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good journalism. Excellent.
Connor, straight to the point. No messing.
But rotting in the reserves is no good. Rotting in the reserves is no good because he's still picking up a wage. He needs to go. He needs to be gone from this football club.
Okay.
Well, put it this way: if I don't turn up for work tomorrow, right, I'm getting fired. If they see me doing this and then go, "Well, why weren't you here?" I'm gone.
If you don't turn up, but you've got a dead leg, we get fired.
I think you'll give me 3 weeks, maybe 3 weeks is a maximum.
You see now, you've got to qualify what you say.
Well, then I might go chip my nail and get another 4 more weeks.
All views of all podcasters on this channel are all the views of their own individual persons, and not necessarily the views of Terry's talk. There we go. Legal disclaimer. Right. let's jump on to the worst ever Burnley 11, shall we? The last 3 weeks we've been putting this together. I say we, they've been putting this together. Here's where we've got to. That's not the right one. That's the right one. Yeah, I mean, this is a stinking side. I can't believe we put De Croy in there. There's no Swansea. Yeah, we've also got quite a few subs as well, which we could have put in there. So
I have to apologise for that, don't I? That Delquar one. It haunted me the day after at work. I walking around like, you're such a bad person.
You are such a bad person. You should be ashamed of putting a current player in the worst ever Burnley 11. But there we go. It's there. It's there. Right then, we need a captain for this side though. So in the comments below, look down this list of 11 they've put together. Who's the worst ever signing for Burnley in terms of output and products?
Tresor.
Well, yeah. Nathan, as you're new to this, looking down that list of 11, who's the worst player on there that you've watched and what these guys have put together in terms of productivity and
I'm pretty sure Ben Gibson was our record signing, played one game in Europe against Olympiacos, got sent off and was never seen again. So it's a good shout for it to be Ben Gibson.
Okay. Yeah, and Connor, who would you put as captain?
Jesus. If you're going to pick the worst captain, Patrick Bamford.
Yes.
Yeah. If we're going really, really bad, then the worst captain, Patrick Bamford. I don't think there's any argument.
Yep. Okay, all right. We need a manager, though, for it now. Then, so who's the worst ever Burnley manager? Help us out in the comments for this. Dan?
Going back the last 20 odd years, I'm going to go a bit older, so these lads will probably go for a bit newer. There's a few, but I'll go Chris Waddle. He were crap, and so that wasn't swearing, but it was just terrible. He had one season, nearly got us relegated. It's probably just outside 20 years, but it's close enough.
Okay, Jordan.
Brian Laws, quite either. I thought he were absolutely dire when he, ex-Burnley legend, this and that, and then. He looked clueless. Like Stevie Wonder had a better job than he did. So yeah, Brian Laws, awful.
Okay. Connor?
I'd say I was going to say Brian Laws, but cheers, Jordan. I'm going to go with Eddie Howe. I think he just he just dismantled the team, brought on a full young side, and it just never really worked for him, really.
Yeah, that's a good point. Nathan?
See, I struggled when thinking about this because my first game was in 2013. Meaning the three managers I've seen are Sean Dyche, Vincent Kompany, and Scott Parker.
Say Scotty P.
Scotty P.
Gang up on you.
I love you.
No, if I would to do research on it, it would probably be Brian Laws. We were it was the Premier League season 2009, 2010.
Yep.
And Owen Coyle had us in a decent position when he left for Bolton, and he still managed to get us down. So it'd probably be Brian Laws.
Okay, all right. Decent shouts. Please let us know in the comments if they've missed any. Of course, like you always do. Right, it's Valentine's week this week. Valentine's Day, sorry, this week. So we're asking this lot for their love stories of how they first, of course, fell in love with Burnley. What was the first game and who was responsible? Connor, can you kick this off for us?
I think I've got this right. It was a friendly against Bradford City, and I've done my research here. We came out 2-0 winners. Lucas Jukovic scored in the 32nd minute, and Matty Taylor scored in the 74th minute. My mum took me on, actually. So cheers, man.
There we go.
Yeah, look at that. See, I've come prepared.
You fell in love that night, did you?
Yeah. No.
Okay. Dan?
Well, sadly, I don't remember the exact game. I can tell you the rough year it was, but that's about it. But I am much older than these boys. So it was about 1989. I went on my first game, and I can tell you that I fell in love with it. There was a player called Roger Eli. He was my favourite player. I retired a long time since, but I got quite poorly when I was about 9 years old, and all my class drew me cards, and he had a very distinctive box haircut, and they all drew these football player with this ginger box haircut on it. So that's what about. Like I say, I can't tell you the exact game, but it was that year. So it was about 1989, 1990-ish.
Decent shout, says Jordan.
Our first, again, same with Dan. I don't really remember the result or anything, but I think it was 2006, 2007. Burnley played Colchester, and my uncle took me on, and my heart was sort of set. And the only reason I remember that is because I spent all day calling him Coleslaw United. That's how young I was. I couldn't pronounce Colchester. So yeah, no. So now I bring the kids up to be little Burnley fans. They can suffer the misery I felt. Come on.
Good.
How sweet.
Yeah. Nathan?
First game would have been 2013. We won 2-0 against QPR, and Danny Ings scored them both. And it was the one where in the celebration he pulled his pants up over his shirt and gave some to fans. That was the game.
Brilliant. Okay. None of you from any Rovers connections in the family then? All Burnley?
No.
All Burnley through and through, yeah? You've got one,
My
Dan.
side, no. My wife's side, however, it's questionable.
You married into Blackburn?
Burnley, but some of the family are a bit off.
Okay.
Oh, dearie me, Dan. You've let your team down here, boy.
We don't speak to him. It's fine. We don't go to any events. Don't send them cards at Christmas.
Hand sanitizer when you've been round. You know what I mean? Right, you.
We don't even go around. We just go around and boo him.
Right. Well, they'll be looking for a new manager by this time next week as well, won't they?
Yeah.
Oh, they're after Daesh. I swear to
He
God.
can't.
Oh no! But they're after
Never
him.
gonna
I saw it on
happen,
Twitter
is it?
before we loaded up, and it just come up and it like, Burnley are after Daesh, and all that. Mate, please, we have a pub named after you. Do not spoil your legacy.
He wouldn't.
He wouldn't do it.
He
Right.
wouldn't, would he?
See you next week. Enjoy your games this week. We'll see you in 7 days' time. Thank you very much for watching.